Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do a comparison between the Keurig K Slim on the left and the Keurig K Slim Plus Ice. So these Keurigs look very similar. They got a lot in common, but the Plus Ice has this ice over ice button. The K Slim does not have that. It's got 8 ounce, 10 ounce, 12 ounce. K Slim Ice has 8 ounce, 10 ounce, 12 ounce, but it's got this special blue light for brewing over ice. I'm going to talk about the Keurigs, and then I'm actually going to make an over ice, and they both brew coffee. So again, if we look at them, they look very similar. They both have the same water reservoir on the back. They both take up the same footprint. Now the K Slim does have multi-brew technology. It's got 5 needles up here at the top and a single needle at the bottom. Over here on the Plus Ice, it's got a single needle at the top and a single needle at the bottom. And they call this, on the K Slim, they call this the multi-brew technology. All 5 of those needles are going to pierce the top of the K-Cup, and they're all 5 going to inject hot water. Whereas over here on the Ice, just a single needle. And again, they both have add water, descale, and the big brew button in the middle. So if you're wanting to just brew a K-Cup, like for a coffee, like an 8 ounce coffee, they both brew almost exactly the same. The multi-brew technology, you get the same amount of coffee, it might taste just a little bit smoother, a little bit stronger with those 5 needles. So with the K Slim Plus Iced, let's do an iced coffee. So I got this 14 ounce tumbler here. I've got it full of ice. Let's take out, they both have a removable drip tray. We can put a tumbler in there if you had a bigger travel mug, but I don't need that. I'm gonna leave the drip tray in there and it fits in there just fine. So I do have this over ice K-Cup. Now you don't have to use an over ice K-Cup. You can use just a standard regular coffee K-Cup. But what makes this K Slim Plus Iced different is when you press that ice button, it's gonna run only 6 ounces of water through the K-Cup. And it's gonna vary the temperature. And the brew is a little bit slower. So I'm gonna show you that. On the K Slim over here, the minimum you can brew is 8 ounces. Which is almost a little too much for an iced coffee because a bunch of this ice is going to melt because it's still brewing hot coffee in here. But 6 ounces, that's going to be a really concentrated coffee. And with the ice melting, that will dilute it and it ends up being just right. Okay, so it's very easy. Again, put your K-Cup in here, close the lid, press this blue button that's flashing, and now press the brew button. We're doing an over ice. Both these coffee makers are very quick, very quiet. Now the water coming out at the beginning is not as hot. And you can see the brewing is a little slower to kind of give a more bolder flavor to the K-Cup. And again, we've got a 153. Now it's going to ramp up to 190, but it just starts out kind of slow. Now the temperature is ramping up. When you do a coffee, it tries to get to 192 as quick as it can and stay there. But with this iced, it's going to vary the temperature. Now we're up to now it's actually brewing the coffee. We got up to 192. Now towards the end of the brew, it cools it off. I even saw 194. It's a little hard to keep it in the stream. Now it's starting to cool off. So now 165, 163. That helps with the ice. Not all the ice is going to melt. Now, towards the very end, 105. So here's the iced coffee. We take it out. We give it a stir. Not all the ice is melted. Yeah, that's a very good iced coffee. I like to get it under 40, and that's a very refreshing iced coffee. Add a little bit of milk, a little bit of vanilla syrup, and that's a delicious drink. Right now, it's going to be pretty bitter with the coffee taste, but if you add about that much milk and syrup, it'll take all the bitterness away, and about 2 tablespoons of vanilla syrup, and that'll be a delicious tasting drink. And again, here we open it up, and then there's just the single needle at the top and the bottom. Okay, so I don't have any milk. I'm going to add some creamer. This is just going to kind of help take away some of that bitterness taste. And then if you want to add some French vanilla syrup, but this is a pumpkin spice over ice, so I'm going to drink it just like that. Yeah, give it a good shake and a good stir. Yeah, that's a delicious, refreshing drink. I think it does help by lowering the brew temperature so that you don't get a bunch of ice melt, because the more ice that melts, the more it's going to dilute the coffee. Okay, so now let's just brew a normal coffee. Put it in there, close the lid. Over here, I'm going to put it in. All 5 of those needles are going to puncture the top. Very easy to use. We're going to do 8 ounce brew, 8 ounce brew. And again, they both start at the same time. Temperatures are going to be exactly the same. Again, it's going to ramp that temperature up. It's trying to get to 192 as fast as it can. 184, 184. And you end up with about a 165 to 167 degree cup of coffee, which is a very hot cup of coffee. Neither machine splatters really bad. That's where the coffee comes out. And then both of them towards the end, you get just a little bit of a pause and then a gush of air. Okay, so let's check them. Yeah, 165. Yeah, 165 also. Then we lift them up here. There's the single needle at the top. And again, here's the 5 needles. Now, on this multi-brew technology, I have found, so once in a while you do get some coffee grounds up here on these 5 needles from puncturing the hole. I find that they don't go into my coffee, but you do have to do fresh water rinses. So about once a week, take this cup out, put a blank cup there, don't put a K-cup here, and just do an 8 ounce brew through the needles. And that kind of flushes everything out, gets it all nice and clean. You can do the same over here. And then the worst thing you can do is leave a K-cup in the machine. If you leave a K-cup in the machine, it could lead to clogging that top needle. So again, both of these are great coffee makers. You could make an over-iced with this one. It's just going to have a little bit more coffee in it. And it's going to be a little warmer, which it's going to melt the ice a little bit more. So I hope this video helps. Thanks everybody for watching.